This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
Today's episode is brought to you by BUSR.com. You know, everyone always asks me where they should bet, and now I got a solution for them. BUSR.com/Paul. You deposit $100, they'll match your $100 in free bets, so you basically get $200. Go check it out, BUSR.com/Paul. What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Adrian Clark. Adrian, how's it going?
All good, bro. Average to savage. That's fitting for me, bro. So all good though, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate you coming on. Let's just go back in time a little bit. How did you get first started in the sports industry?
Man, my close friend and growing up, my childhood friend, CJ Miles, who 15-year NBA vet, started out with the Utah Jazz and then moved on to Cleveland Cavaliers, Indiana Pacers, Wizards, Toronto Raptors, Memphis Grizzlies, I believe. He gave me my start, man, and it was just more so kind of like an internship. After I graduated college, I moved to Utah to kind of just learn the business, kind of just watching him and in his environment and learning the business, man. It was my mindset to be one of the best NBA agents, youngest NBA agents, but seems like boxing was more so my calling. But CJ was my start into sports entertainment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Then I saw you. I didn't even know until I was doing some research. I didn't know you were an amateur boxer back in your day.
Yeah, man. I started at 21, man. Me and my brother, my brother passed away in 2006, but my brother was the one that really taught me how to box, taught me how to fight. And we always would box, man. Like I was his favorite opponent. He would always beat me up. And once he passed away, and then I went to Texas A&M down in Corpus Christi, found a boxing gym, man, and like literally it's history from there, bro. So I fought 2007 to 2009, man. I wasn't very good, but that was my start to boxing.
Yeah, for sure. Then what year was it like you stopped being an NBA agent and then you got into boxing?
So I was certified in 2012, I believe. 2012 was my first year. I didn't have any tips, man. You know, I know like ignorance is bliss, so to speak, but I didn't know how much money was, required to actually be a successful NBA agent. So I was only an agent certified for a year. I didn't have any clients. I went after Tony Mitchell, who's from Dallas, also like me. And he was drafted in the second round by the Pistons. He had a decision to make between myself and CAA. Of course, he went with CAA, which is a conglomerate. But that was my 1 year experience. It was a good experience, but boxing was really the calling, man, that I never saw coming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then tell me a little bit like how'd you got into that? I know you work with like Errol Spence and a lot of other guys like that.
Yeah, Jerry Belmontes was my first client, man. And, my amateur experience actually helped that because, Jerry was at my fights. Jerry was actually in Corpus Christi to watch me fight. So he remembered, this guy that he would not only see in a boxing ring, but we would see each other around town at the club, or I would see him running. And, not even 5 years later, I'm this guy's manager, man. Like it's like a movie how it happened. But I started with Jerry, and that was my crash course essentially into professional boxing, because unlike the NBA and other sports, there's no union or players association to help you navigate water in regard to the sport. They just throw you in the water and you figure it out from there. But Jerry was my start, and I learned everything through managing him, and things just grew from there, man. And I was able to do it for about a decade and got out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I don't even know how many books you have, because every time I turn around on Facebook, you got like a new book drop. I think, what is it, 3 or 4 or 5?
Nah, man, it's actually 5.
All right.
It's actually 5, and I'm trying to wait to put out the 6th book. I'm still working on some things, but I think 6 is going to be the magic number for me, man. I think I'm going to call it quits after 6, but honestly, as an author, man, you kind of go with what hits you. So if something hits me after 6, then who knows?
Yeah. So protect yourself at all time is your, I guess your main thing. And it was like teaching. I listened to it too a long time ago. But I think I don't remember when it came out. When it came out, like 2017. 16. Yeah. I remember listening to it. Yeah. And it just taught you like all about like, you know, the boxers and things like that, how to watch your back basically and things like that. So what like inspired you to write that? Like that was your first book, right?
Honestly, man, my experience, and you know, I got a little bit of the experience as far as like the NBA side. So how it is with the agents, with the PA and how they regulate the agents and how much they make, and they actually give a good education to the aspiring or the new sports agents or player agents. So I kind of just took that narrative and then mixed it in with professional boxing, even though there's nothing to really mix it in with. I came up with some creative things that could help protect the fighters, and some things I'm working on going forward is something to help educate the managers as the PA. They help with the player agents. I'm going to help with boxing management as far as like helping the managers hit the ground running coming into the sport. You know, I was a manager for a decade, man, and in 10 years, like nothing changed. There was nothing on the internet that could help you out, getting your foot in the door or hitting the ground running as far as like, okay, now I'm a manager. Now what? Like, what's the first step? What do I do? How do I do it? Like, there's nothing out there. Like, literally, as we speak, there's nothing out there. So I'm gonna, you know, that's my role now, man. To really, I learned the game, so now it's my time to give people the game, man, if they want it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know in 2019, you actually joined like a sports agency group. What was that like to, I guess, go? Not I don't want to say backwards, but like you were independent and then you joined an agency. So what was that like for you?
The timing was perfect. I knew that I was done with boxing management, but I always told myself that I was going to sell AC Sports Management. I told myself back in like 2000 and maybe it was like 13 or 14 that I was going to sell to Wasserman Group. And, you know, I reached out a couple of times just to try to make a connection, but I ended up selling the Ballinger Group. So Wasserman Group, Ballinger Group, it's still a group. So it was perfect timing, man. And I was able to get a little bit of money from it, but then also able to acquire a good little salary and help build a boxing division for the company. I was only there 9 months. Something else that was actually more beneficial. New challenge came up, but Ballinger Group, much love to the company, man. They're a really good group.
Yeah, for sure. Is that next thing was the Fight Network?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I you know, getting into television, and it was a new challenge, man. It's something that honestly I didn't plan for. It came out of nowhere, and I was like, you know, what the hell? Like, let's do it. I was there for about a year and some change, and I was able to do the Protect Yourself at All Times 7-part series with the Fight Network. But I learned a lot about the television network, and they don't move as fast as us entrepreneurs do. So I got impatient with a lot of things, and I was disappointed that a lot of ideas that I pitched did not like go through. Like, perfect example. So before, like now you're seeing like a lot of celebrity boxing going on, like with the Paul. Yo, when I first got with them, like I told them like, yo, this is something that we should do. Like we should go with celebrity boxing or like kind of like a tournament, like to reintroduce. You remember a guy named Butterbean from back in the day? Yeah. Butterbean became a star, but it was from Tough Man competition. So that was actually my idea. Let's reintroduce the Tough Man competition and televise it on Fight Network to bring more of a following, but they didn't bite for it, man. And then all of a sudden we see celebrity boxing take off, and I'm like, bro, you see, I know I may be young, but I know what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah, it was a good experience though.
Yeah, I don't know if you know Anthony Marcella. He's from Rhode Island. He's a boxer. He actually I was at the fight. He actually walked out with Bryce Hall. You know who that is? The TikToker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I think it was probably 2017 or 18. Just because he was living out there with him and stuff. So it was like crazy to see that Hall, because he did the same, like he pitched the same idea with that, and then it actually like happened this year, and then it's crazy.
Crazy, man. Crazy, bro.
So yeah, going into that, what do you think about the Paul brothers?
Hey man, make your money, man. I mean, honestly, they've infiltrated the sport, and I don't knock anybody from making their money, man, and making their mark and creating their legacy. And it just shows you like there's no gatekeepers in boxing, and it honestly shows you how easy it is to infiltrate the sport and become someone within the sport. But no knock to those guys at all, man. They're both doing their thing, and I don't know how long it's gonna last, but they're already making crazy money. So I don't really have a thought on it. I think it's good, but I can point out some bad, but no need to.
Yeah, for sure. No, I would say like they're probably like the best marketers on the planet at this point. Like it's pretty crazy what they're doing on that side of things. Like you think Jake Paul could be like a legit like contender or no?
No, right? Not with the real guys, man. Not with the guys that actually do it. You keep getting those MMA guys, man, that have big names. MMA guys, with respect to what they do, most of them are not very good strikers within their own sport. So trying to come over to boxing and only be able to, just use your arms and your head, essentially. You see the crossover has not been relatively good. So if I'm the Paul brothers, maybe your last fight, then you get in with a big name boxer and get your ass whooped, and it'll be worth it because the money will be there. But for right now, there's no reason to do it unless it's a big name like Floyd Mayweather or Canelo or something that it's gonna be crazy. So yeah,
for sure. And now what are you doing now besides, like, I know you just said you're thinking about your 6th book.
Yeah, but of course protect yourself at all times is like that. That's going to be something that there's something in the works where I can't. I'm waiting for like the head nod or for the handshake, essentially, so we can announce a major partnership that's actually going to bring a big shift as far as like the educational standpoint goes. Hopefully that will happen in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. But protect yourself at all times is really the focal point for me because that educational system is missing in the sport of boxing, and it's not like professional boxers are not being taken advantage of like right now. It's something that's been going on for decades, and I'm not going to be the guy to stop it, so to speak. But I'll be the guy, or I've been the guy that has introduced an educational system to the sport that has not ever been introduced before. So I think I'm kind of flattening the curve. I hate using that phrase, but as far as guys being taken advantage of or the education not being there or people just not knowing better, I think that conversation is coming to an end because I'm putting something out there for people to know better in hopes that they actually do better. So protect yourself at all times is my focal point and will be until it gets to where I see it in my head.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you saw, I think it came out like yesterday that MMA is trying to form like some kind of like a NBA, like a CBA or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to be tough, but like they should start with like a council. If I were working with those guys, it's like, look, let's form a council. Let's form a fighters council to where whoever the best fighter is at that point in time, whoever has the most knowledge or well-versed within the business, have them as the president, and then you form out your council, so to speak, and that becomes your voice. So nothing can happen in regards to mandates for the UFC without the council being alerted or a part of negotiations. I feel you have to start there. Like once you get organized, man, things become easier from there. But you got to get organized. Just saying that you're gonna do something that don't bring change. I've seen it so much in boxing. People on Twitter or whatever, like we should do this or fighters should do this. It's good talk, but when it comes to that action, man, nobody's doing anything. So like Marshawn Lynch always, I'm about that action, boss. So I don't really say too much on social media. I know what I'm doing behind the scenes. So it's like I'm about that action, man. All that talking, I'll leave it up to somebody else. I'm actually doing on my end.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how did you get Jay Prince to forward your book?
Jay's the homie, man. That's I spent a lot of time with dude, man, and the knowledge that he has, man, is Jay don't really say too many words. He don't have to, but when he does speak, man, it's automatic knowledge, man. Whatever he's either instructing you to do or telling you to do or advising you to do, it's valuable stuff, man. So I was privileged to. He scared me a few years ago with the phone call, man. He kind of cold called me, and I think it was either Bob Arum or somebody gave him my number, and he called me in regards to something, and he just called me out the blue, man, and it scared the hell out of me. But ever since then, man, we've been just good friends. I've been over to his house, and we've talked about books and movies and life and boxing, of course. I've got to know a lot about him just as a man. So Jay's my homie, man. That's much love to the OG, man.
Yeah, it's dope. All right, this is gonna be a loaded question for you, but what advice would you give somebody trying to become like either a boxing manager or like trying to get into like the sports management field?
I just had this conversation earlier, man, and where it's I'm not gonna say where it's turning to. It's always been this way, but it's like a fraternity, man. Like it's not really who you know, it's like who knows you. And networking is one thing, but I'll be real with you. It's like if you're building an empire or whatever it may be, you don't want to let too many unknowns or like people that you really don't know into your system, especially if it's one that's working pretty strongly. You want to know who those people know, who they're connected with, or who they're tied into. So I would tell someone that is trying to get in the same thing I told the young lady earlier. It's like, bro, like who knows you? Like what's your into the business? If it's just because you're a great marketer and you're really passionate about it, there's a lot of people that are great marketers that are really passionate about it. What's going to set you aside from that individual? Or if you feel like so much about the business, there's probably a lot of people that know about the business. What's going to set you aside from them to get you inside that door, man? So it's not about what you know, really. It's about who knows you. That's really what I boil it down to. Who knows you and who can you attach yourself to get into the door? The focal point is getting inside the door. Once you get inside the door, man, you can navigate your own way from there. But the key is to get inside the door. And trust me, I've walked up to the door and knocked on it and asked people nicely, hey, man, can you guys let me in, please? I'm a really nice. That don't work. So you gotta find another way inside the door.
Yeah, definitely. I know we both know AJ Galante. Did you get to watch the documentary?
Of course. And yo, what's crazy about that? I've been knowing AJ for years.
Yeah.
He never told me any of that. Like he never told me about his pops. He told me that his dad, was like he had did a bid or whatever, but he never told me any back information on his pops. He never told me about him being, a GM at 17. That was so much that AJ didn't tell me. But a couple of days before it came out, he texted me and he was like, yo, no judgment, man. Like, don't judge me for what you see. And I'm thinking, like, what are you talking about? AJ's always been just this nice, respectful, like, individual. He's always been, like, just so cool. So when I'm watching it, I'm like, who is this? I don't know who this is on the screen right now, man. That's probably one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
Yeah. And
even if I didn't know even if I didn't know AJ, it still would be one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, man. So much respect to the history they've made, bro.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, see, like I think just being from Connecticut, I knew about the story. So like I feel like if I were in your shoes, it'd be like the same. Like I probably wouldn't. If I just knew him from boxing, then I would know like what you're saying.
Man, bro, I was blown away. And I tell you, AJ, bro, why didn't you tell me any of this, man? He was like, it just never came up. And I was like, no, man, you're supposed to tell me about this, man. But it was really dope, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had him on today actually, so it was cool to get the whole story and just bullshit with him. But it was funny. All right, you ready for some fun questions?
All right, let's do
it. What's your favorite thing to do, like when you have free time?
Get a massage, man. Like I'm 35 now, so like 10 years ago, I'll be like, man, shit, my favorite thing to do is go out to a club and get a section, bro, and turn all the way up. and then figure out how to get home. But like now, man, I honestly need an hour massage, and yeah, that's my favorite thing to do, bro.
All right, I like that. What's your favorite song right now?
Favorite song right now is The Life of the Party, Kanye West and Andre 3000.
All right.
Not really Kanye's verse, but Andre 3000 verse, man, classic. So that I've been having that song on repeat lately.
All right, if I come to Dallas, what restaurant do I got to go to?
Now it's Texas, it's the South, so people talk about barbecue. You can kind of pick any barbecue restaurant in Texas, in Dallas especially, and you can't go wrong. But for me though, if you're coming to Texas and you're rolling with me, I would take you to Velvet Taco. Velvet Taco is the spot to go to.
All right. Hey, you're a Cowboys fan, right?
Hell no.
Oh, you're not.
No.
Oh, I see it behind. I see the thing behind you. Isn't that
so? What's great? So what that is, like, I rented out the stadium, which that sounds kind of big. I didn't rent out the entire stadium. I did an event at the stadium, so I rented out a nice piece of time. And that's my son and I. My son, myself, and my mom and my dad are standing behind us. I'm throwing a touchdown pass to my son, which he dropped, so it wasn't a touchdown, but they let us get on the field and run around and throw the football around or whatever it may be. But I'm not a Cowboys fan. I will never be a Cowboys fan. It's just, I live in Dallas. I was doing a fundraiser, and the stadium is beautiful. I always admit that, but it'll be a cold day in hell before I ever.
So who's your team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Who's your team?
Cisco.
San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm a Niners fan, bro. I'm a Niners fan. My dad raised me on the Niners, bro, and I follow my dad, man.
All right, so how do you think, so my original question was going to say, how do you think the Cowboys are going to do? So how do you think the 49ers are going to do this year?
I'll answer both questions. The Cowboys will underachieve as they've done the past, I think, 30 years. They will underachieve. Like they may make the playoffs, but if they do, they will lose in their first game. But for the 49ers, man, we just lost our running back for the year, and we lost our cornerback for the year. So we lost two starters, like our first game out, which I think this happened, I want to say last year or the year before last. But I have us going to the playoffs. I think what we're really trying to figure out is our quarterback right now. Like, of course, Garoppolo is the guy that we paid, but we just drafted Trey Lance with the number 3 pick. You don't just bench the number 3 pick just because. So once we figure that out, I think we can make another run at a Super Bowl. But for right now, I see it just realistically making the playoffs.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the listeners know where they can follow you at on social media?
I don't say nothing on Twitter, man, but you can follow me on there. The Adrian Clark on IG, which I'm most probably active on, is AC_Clark, and on Facebook, Adrian Clark, or Protect Yourself at All Times, LLC, and hit me up on any of those, man, and I'll respond to you.
All right, again, appreciate it, and best of luck with everything you're doing. I'm always keeping track of what you're doing, and I'll be checking out the 6th book when it comes out.
PG, my guy, I'm proud of you, brother, man. Keep breaking down doors, family.
This episode has been brought to you by BUSR.com. Go check it out to get your free $100 bet when you deposit $100 at BUSR.com/Paul.